Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, my name is Corinne. Thank you for stopping by and welcome to the Jaclyn Hill times Morphe Vault collection review and tutorial. So not only am I going to be doing a fun tutorial for you guys, but I'm also going to be giving you guys my thoughts on these palettes. And I did want to tell you guys that all 4 of my palettes do have V2 on the back. There's been some controversy surrounding these palettes because when they first launched, they had some issues with the shadows not performing the way that they said they were going to. And then what they ended up doing is destroying all of the old palettes and repressing them, and then ultimately relaunching the Vault collection. So what's been going around and what people are thinking is that if your palettes have a V2 stamped on the back, that means that they're volume 2 or version 2, meaning that these are the new palettes. These are the ones that have been repressed. Now, both Morphe and Jaclyn Hill are saying that they destroyed all of the shadows from the first launch and that they're not using old shadows at all. They're just reusing packaging. So if yours doesn't have a V2 on it, apparently it is pressed the same, but I don't know guys. I've had a couple of my followers DM me pictures of their swatches of their palettes that don't have V2 on the back, and they're horrible. Let's go ahead and get into the tutorial. Okay, so I am all zoomed in for you guys so you guys can have a little bit of a better view of how these shadows are working on my eyes. So the 2 palettes that I'm gonna be using and dipping into are Dark Magic. So this is what Dark Magic looks like. It's like super cool tone, dark shadows, which is really fun and unique. And then the next palette I'm gonna be using is called Bling Boss. So this is like more purples. So these are the 2 palettes that I'm gonna be using, just because I feel like these 2 palettes right here are the ones that have more problematic shades. So like the darker berries and the darker greens. So first things first, I'm going to be taking the Morphe M441. This is one of my favorite blending brushes by them. And I am going to dip into this shade right here, and it is called Poof. And I'm gonna just run this shade in my crease, kind of as a transition shade. So this color is a little bit more creamier and a little more warm than my skin tone is. So it's gonna show up just a little bit, not too much on my lid, but that's exactly what I'm wanting for a transition shade. Okay, so the next shade I'm gonna dip into is called Hush Hush right here. And I'm just gonna do the same thing that I did before and just run this in my crease. So this shade is gonna give me a little bit more of a wash of color. And another thing I did want to tell you guys is when I'm dipping into these shades, I'm really tapping off the excess just because I did my face makeup first and I really want to avoid that fallout. All right, now I am done with that shade, and I'm gonna be taking a smaller Morphe brush, and this is the M514 brush. So I'm gonna go ahead and dip into this shade right here, and this is the shade Rockstar. I have not used this shade yet, and I have heard that you're supposed to scratch off the top layer in order to help the shadows work better. So I'm actually just gonna dip into this and we're gonna see how it works without scratching off the first layer. So automatically I'm already having a little bit of fallout with this shade, but that's pretty normal for berry shadows. Taking this into my crease a little bit lower than Hush Hush. And immediately you can see it is giving me a good amount of pigment, especially because I did tap off so much of the excess. If I were to just dip into the shadow and go straight onto my eye, I would get a lot more pigment that way. But again, like I said, I'm really trying to avoid that fallout, so I don't want to do that. And I'm not too worried about having to layer this shadow just because that's how I do my makeup. That's how I do really intense, fun, colorful looks. So to me, so far, this shadow is performing pretty well. But as you can see, this shadow is a little bit patchy. It is a little bit patchy here. So as I continue to layer the shadow, you can see that the patchiness does blend out and go away like Jaclyn said it would, but it definitely takes a little bit of extra love to get there. And it's not the easiest thing to blend. I mean, like, it really isn't the easiest thing to blend. Okay, so I feel like this eye is blending out so much better than this eye. And I'm wondering if it's because I have scratched off the top layer like they said to. Because there's a huge difference, to be honest, between this eye and this eye. I mean, this is blending out way prettier than this did. This is still a little bit rough. Okay, so I decided to go back in with that shadow on this eye and give it a little bit more pigment so that they match up a little bit better. So I'm gonna go ahead and take Busted and now blend that into my eye. And I have used Busted before, so the top layer is essentially worn off already. So this shadow should perform a little bit better. Ooh, and I still have fallout, no. But as you can see, these shadows are layering on top of each other very well, and I'm having no issues doing that. So now what I'm gonna do is take my MAC 221 brush, and I'm gonna dip into this shade right here, Inside Job, and I'm just gonna focus that on the outer corner of my eye. Alright, so that shade did seem to take off a little bit of the other shadows that I had put down. I don't know if you can tell, but in the crease, it's almost like I don't have shadow there. And this is actually a problem that I didn't face when I did my other looks using this palette. And I'm wondering if it's because I'm using darker shades. I don't know. Because I know the consistency of all shades is different, and some shades are a little bit harder to make than others, so they perform differently. So I'm not sure what's going on, but you guys can see it. I mean, I'm trying my best to kind of like cover it up, but it's literally like, look, it's like blending off of my eye. Kind of disappointed because the past few looks that I've done with these palettes have been really nice. And I'm just dusting off some of my fallout. Okay, so now what I'm gonna be doing is cutting the crease, and I'm gonna be using my Catrice Camouflage Liquid Concealer. So what I have found with the shimmer shadows is that they're pressed a little bit too hard for my liking. I like shimmer shadows that are easy to pick up on your brush and that aren't difficult to pick up on my brush. I feel like these are pressed a little bit too hard. So what I'm actually gonna do is just pick up this shade Gem with my finger because it tends to apply better that way. And I'm just gonna go ahead and stick it on my lid. I'm gonna focus this on the outer area of my cut crease. So now I am going to pick up a brush, dip into Gem. I am going to apply it to my lid. And I did not spray this, by the way. This is just straight shadow going onto my lid. Oh my gosh, are you seeing this, guys? I'm literally putting this shade on my outer corner and it's like dusting the shadow off on my face. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and take the shade Trickery right here, and I'm actually going to take a brush and wet it this time and see if that helps apply it a little bit better. So now I'm going to apply this shadow on the inner part of my eye. So this is how the shadow is applying when wetted. As you can see, I mean, it's not the best. So what I'm gonna do is kind of just add a layer and then go in with my finger and apply it with my finger on top to get a little bit of a better application. See, look how much better it applies when you use your finger. It's like a complete and total 360 of how it applies. Just sucks because I can't be as precise with my fingers as I can with a brush. So I'm gonna go ahead and dip into Rockstar and I'm gonna blend that into my lower lash line. So now I'm gonna be taking this brush right here. I'm gonna dip into Inside Job right here. And I'm gonna pack that onto my lower lash line. Feeling like my inner corner needs some love. So I'm gonna dip into this shade VIP right here from the Armed and Gorgeous palette and stick that into my inner corner. Okay, so now that I am done with my eyeshadow, I'm gonna go ahead and put some mascara and lashes on off camera, and then I'll come back and let you guys know my complete thoughts and review on these palettes. Okay, so lashes are on. I also applied Urban Decay Back Talk on my lips, and this is what the eyeshadow looks like with lashes on. Now, I do feel like the lashes did kind of pull this look together and make it look a little bit better, and kind of helps hide the flaws that are in there because these lashes are so big and crazy. So I just wanted to go over my feelings and thoughts about these palettes with you guys. So first things first, I want to let you guys know that this palette right here, Armed and Gorgeous, is beautiful. And this palette right here, Ring the Alarm, is also another really good one. So these are the two palettes that I used the most within the past week or so. And I got really, really good results with both of these palettes. And I don't know if it's because these are warm tone palettes and Morphe has a ton of warm tone palettes already. So they kind of know how to create these shadows and make them work. So if you guys want me to do another tutorial using these two palettes, I can definitely do that because I was happy with these two palettes right here. Now moving on to the palettes that I just used in this tutorial. I mean, you guys saw how these palettes perform. Some shades are good, some shades aren't. I wasn't impressed with a lot of the shades in both of these palettes. I think they're both beautiful, beautiful palettes. I mean, they really are. They're super unique and fun, but I'm not impressed. I mean, there was patchiness, there was a lot of fallout. Blending these shadows out was a challenge. It wasn't something that I could just quickly do, but I just don't think that these two palettes right here are very user-friendly at all. The good thing is though that you guys can purchase these palettes separately on Morphe.com and on the Ulta website and in stores in Ulta as well. I do believe though, if you scratch off the first layer of these shadows, both the mattes and the shimmers, it does help the quality of the shadows improve. Kind of sucks that you have to do that because ultimately you're losing shadow when you're having to scratch off the first layer of the shadow. I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys some swatches of these palettes since I did have the most trouble with both of these, just so you guys are able to see kind of what you're working with here. So I am going to first dip into Busted. So I'm gonna do 1, 2, 3, and one swatch all the way down my arm. So that's how that shade swatched. Now let's swatch Inside Job. 1, 2, 3, just like Jaclyn Hill did. And all the way down. Okay, so let's swatch the black. 1, 2, 3. The black swatch is pretty nice, not gonna lie. That black does look really good. I'm like running out of fingers. I will swatch a shimmer for you guys. Shimmers always swatch well, but I'll do it anyways. So let's dip into Glitz and Glam with my pinky. 1, 2, 3. And that's how that swatches. So shimmers always swatch well. It's always the mattes that are troublesome. Oh, and I also want to swatch Rockstar. So I'm going to swatch Rockstar with my thumb. 1, 2, 3. Once again, on my arm, we'll go, I don't know how to do this. I'll go down. That's how Rockstar swatches. And these are the V2 palettes, guys. These are the V2 palettes. I don't know how Jaclyn Hill was swatching her palettes that she had because her swatches looked incredible. These shadows looked extremely pigmented, gorgeous, beautiful, no issues at all. But this is how V2 is swatching. It is not the best at all. And if I did apply more pressure and if I went up and down like this and kind of blended the shadows out, they would look better. But that's just a one swipe swatch for you so you can see kind of what we're working with here. So final thoughts on these palettes. I wish I would have known that these two right here are no good. I wouldn't have purchased the Vault collection, so that's kind of why I'm posting this video for you guys, so you can avoid buying all of the palettes. I definitely recommend, like I said before, Armed and Gorgeous and Ring the Alarm palettes. These two are both amazing, but I was most excited for these two because they're more cool tones, berry, jewel shades, really fun, unique colors, and they're just not the best palettes. Now this makeup did turn out okay. I don't love the shades that I use, but it did turn out fine. I mean, you guys can see that there is some patchiness. It did blend out well up there, but I mean, even the shimmer shades were a little bit difficult to apply. The palettes are difficult to use. They're not the best. I wouldn't recommend buying the Vault collection. It's just not worth your money. Not all of the shadows are good, and I'm honestly disappointed. Because Jaclyn Hill is definitely somebody that I trust because I love her. I will always love her. She is one of my favorite YouTubers ever. The Vault collection I'm very disappointed in. So save your money. Thank you guys for hanging out with me and watching my tutorial / review. Make sure that you follow me on all of my social medias. I always put them on the screen right here for you and down below. Make sure to subscribe if you want to see more of my videos, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.